the Talking Sports podcast with Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour on YouTube. Guys, welcome back to the channel. We are happy to have you.
And please follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we really appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, guys, Twitter and Instagram link will be in the description as well. Make sure you comment and like on this video. Also hit the subscribe button. If you haven't checked out our Marcus Bradley interview yet, please do. Great young man. And that was a great interview. He gives us great insight in his recruiting process and why he chose Vanderbilt for his next 4 years. Guys, NBA season is starting December 22nd. That's on a Tuesday. You'll be seeing this video on a Monday right before the games start the next day. We're doing an NBA preview video, basically. We've had a couple of these either on the Apple Podcast or on the YouTube. We did a couple with the NFL preview when I did back in August and September. It's been a little while since we did a preview video, but guys, this is really simple. Preview and awards video. Me and JR each going to be giving you our Eastern Conference and Western Conference playoff predictions, who we think is going to make the playoffs. We'll each be giving you our finals pick, so you can hold us accountable for that. We're giving you awards, who we think is going to win the most notable awards. Also, all first-team NBA and all first-team Rookie of the Year. JR, I know we love talking about some NBA, and I'm excited for the season. But, JR, I want you to start it off. Give me your Eastern Conference predictions 1 through 8. Who do you think is making the playoffs?
All right, so the number one seed I have is the Milwaukee Bucks, and they've consistently dominated the regular season in the East with Giannis. I'm not talking about playoffs, but in the regular season, they did have consistently been on top, and that's why I'm giving them that one seed, especially with the addition of Drew Holiday. And then at number 2, I'm going Nets. I've been liking what I've been seeing out of KD and Kyrie, and I just think KD coming back he's probably the second first best player in the league right now. That's a different argument, but I think people forget how good he could be and how dominant he was, especially at scoring. So they're my number 2 seed. And then at number 3, I've got the Boston Celtics. I just like what they do every regular season. Brad Stevens, really good coach. And hopefully Jason Tatum continues to improve. And then at number 4, I got the 76ers. I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, if they may get Harden. I'm making this ranking as if the team is what they are right now. So I like Ben Simmons. I like Joel Embiid. I just hope they could do more in the playoffs, but they're consistently pretty good in the regular season. And then at number 5, I got the Raptors. They are also consistently good in the regular season. Sometimes I feel like I underestimate them just because the talent on the roster, in my eyes, isn't a top team. However, they play as a team. Kyle Lowry's impressed me, especially in the bubble last year. And hopefully Pascal Siakam can continue to improve as well. And then number 6, I got the Heat. I think they'll probably take a drop off from the hype that they've been getting by going into the finals. And number 7, I got the Washington Wizards. I really like the addition of Russell Westbrook. Pete knows he's my favorite player in the league. And I know that him and Bradley Beal will hopefully become like a solid duo. I just think Bradley Beal works really well off the ball. Russ likes having the ball in his hand. I think it's kind of like a perfect match in a way. I think they'll be good together. And this is where it starts getting debatable. At number 8, I got the Charlotte Hornets. I feel like there's many teams that could take this 8 or 7 spot. And I know they're not getting the primetime talent. They got Gordon Hayward, but I think just as a core and overall team, they're pretty solid. I was thinking about putting the Pacers here because the Pacers could definitely make the playoffs, but I went with the Hornets. I kind of like what they're doing.
Perfect. I agree with a lot of yours. You're a little similar to mine, especially at the top. And I like the Hornets pick. That's interesting. Always the 7-8 seed, especially in the Eastern Conference, is usually, I don't want to say, it's not be rude, like a mediocre average team usually. It's usually not like a title contending team. So a lot of teams could be fighting for that. Okay, my Eastern Conference predictions. I got the same number 1 as Jared. I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Like Jared said, they're a consistent regular season team. We can get into details later on if we think they're a championship caliber team or a playoff team. But this team, championship caliber team. But this team is consistently really good in the playoffs. They got Mike Budenholzer as their head coach. You have Giannis, who was back-to-back MVPs. You also added Drew Holiday, who's a good two guard. You have Chris Middleton still. You have a good, solid core. This team is going to be really good. We'll see if they can get to the finals or even the conference finals this year, but they're going to be the number 1 seed. My number 2 seed is going to be the Brooklyn Nets as well as JR. Well, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are two of the top players at their positions in the league, and you can't not have them in your top half of the Eastern Conference. I'm really liking what the Brooklyn Nets are doing right now, and I think Steve Nash is – I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest coach ever, but I think he fits well with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I think he's going to let them do what they want. And also a sleeper on that team, a couple of sleepers, Karis LeVert was really good in the bubble last year and really good towards the end of the year. Expect Karis LeVert to be like that third star scoring option that's going to be really good because I don't know how much Kevin Durant's going to be playing right off the bat. I'm assuming he's going to be playing a lot, but there's definitely going to be games where he's going to be taken off. Just preserve his body for the playoffs. You also have Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie. This team has good depth and good bench players, so I'm happy for what the Nets are doing. And number 3, I'm a little different what Jared has. I got the Miami Heat. Jared knows I'm a huge Jimmy Butler guy. I've always been a huge Jimmy Butler guy since I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, and I'm sad Jimmy Butler is not on the team, but that wasn't really good to work with Jimmy Butler and the Bulls. That's another conversation for another day. We'll be here for an hour if I'm talking about that. But I really like what the Heat doing. They have Eric Spoelstra, who's one of the best coaches in the league, and I don't think they're going to have a finals hangover like JR said. I don't know if JR said a finals hangover, but he said something not as good as they were last year in the sense how they played in the bubble. But Tyler Hero is really good. Duncan Robinson's good. Kendrick Nunn's underrated. I love Bam Adebayo. I think Jimmy Butler is a great leader. I wish they could have like traded for like a Bradley Beal or somebody like that, or even like just another star, because I think another star with that team puts them in the category with the Nets and the Bucks. I just don't think they're there yet, but I think the Heat are going to be really good this year. And number 4, I got the Toronto Raptors. Similar to the Milwaukee Bucks and similar to what JR said, they're a great regular season team. Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry are veterans, or more Kyle Lowry. He's been there. Nick Nurse is a great coach. OG Anunoby is really good. Fran VanVleet's back for another couple years. This team is solid. I don't think they're better than the top half of the teams because I don't think they just have that superstar talent unless Siakam takes that huge next step, because I think Siakam's an all-star, really good player, and I think Lowry's a good player. They just don't have that star player, but this Raptors team, you don't want to play in the playoffs, and they're super talented. And there's a solid overall team. And number 5, I got the Boston Celtics. Look, the Celtics are good. Once again, you got Jason Tatum, who's a rising superstar. You got Kemba Walker, who was a little inconsistent last year. Right now, he's out with an injury. How he comes back is going to be really important to the success of this team. Jaylen Brown's good. I think his hype is a little too much for Jaylen Brown. They did draft Aaron Nesmith, who's going to be a good guard off the bench. They also got Marcus Smart, who's a great perimeter defender. The biggest thing that worries me for the Celtics is their big men, who's really going to play at the 5 after losing Al Horford 2 years ago. They don't have a lot of good big men on that team. I think that's going to hold the Celtics back from being one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. But, man, you can never count out the Celtics with Tatum and Kemba. But I just think the big men will hold them back and put them at a 5 seed, even though 5 seed is still really good. Number 6, I got the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm with Jared. Like, I'm assessing them how I think with the team right now. If they go get James Harden, obviously this is going to be a little different. But with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, it's a good duo, but there's a lot of flaws. Can Joel Embiid stay on the court? And can Ben Simmons create a jump shot? Look, Doc Rivers is going to be interesting as the head coach. He's a much better head coach than their former head coach. I still think they're going to be a little flawed, but I have him as a 16. Rounding out the 7 and 8, at number 7, I got the Washington Wizards. I'm with JR. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. It's going to be a nice duo to watch. I still don't think they have a ton of talent around them. They have a couple of nice young pieces in Denny Advagia. They have Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant. Nice young pieces, but not veteran guys that have been there. Look, the Wizards know what we're talking about. They're building something for the future. Does that consist of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal for the future? I don't know, but they have a couple of nice young pieces to go along with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, and I think it will work enough to get a playoff spot. At number 8, I got the Atlanta Hawks. I just think they're interesting. Look, Trae Young, all-star point guard. I think John Collins is an underrated big man, and I also like Oni Akugako. I don't know. I definitely did not say his name right. Sorry, did not say his name right. The power forward at USC. I think he's going to be really good. And also, I think either DeAndre Hunter or Cam Reddish will take that next step and guide him to number 8.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had the same thing. It was between like the Hawks. The Hawks, I really was trying to make a push for them to make the playoffs. It just didn't happen for me. So for my West, I got number 1 seed Los Angeles Lakers. I think it's kind of obvious to me. They got LeBron. I don't know how much LeBron's going to play this year, but this is got Anthony Davis. They got Montrezl Harrell now. They got Schroeder. They just only got better from last year. So they're my number 1 seed. At number 2, though, I actually got the Denver Nuggets. They're kind of like the Raptors of the East for me. Like, they're just a solid team. They just consistently are always doing good in the West. So, I mean, I don't want to underestimate them this year. So I got them at number 2. This is purely just the regular season, though. So it's not like they're my second best team. It's just how I think it will go. And at number 3, I got the Portland Trailblazers. I think Damian Lillard is definitely going to take a step this year. I like what I've been seeing out of him. Just been playing, balling out. And I think they're going to get that 3 or 4 range. So I got them at the 3. I think they'll be pretty good this year. And then at number 4, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. I know many people probably have them top 3, top 2. I think Kawhi's not going to play as much during the regular season. And then I just don't. They lost Montrezl Harrell. They lost a couple guys. And I just don't think the chemistry is there after losing in the playoffs. They may come back stronger than that from losing in the playoffs, but as of right now, I got them at number 4. Number 5, I got the Houston Rockets. I think any team James Harden's on is always going to be in the competition to be a top team in the conference. They got John Wall. Hopefully, I mean, they could work off each other. We didn't really work with Russell and James, but John Wall's more of a passer and more of a, not a playmaker, but kind of distributes the ball better. And then they also have DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood. I think he's going to be playing pretty well this year. And at number 6, I got the Dallas Mavericks. And I know everyone's hype on Doncic and everything, but yes, I think Doncic's going to be very good. However, the team around him could be better. Porzingis is good, but can he stay healthy? And I just see them falling kind of in that mid to bottom mid of the conference. And this where it starts to get tricky for me. Pete knows I don't like Steph Curry, but I feel like I couldn't leave the Golden State Warriors out, and I have them at number 7. I just don't think, to me, Steph could lead a team. He's very good. He's going to get his points. And they just need Andrew Wiggins to step up. And if that could happen, take some pressure off Curry, then I think they'll be pretty solid. And then at number 8, I got the Phoenix Suns. I want to see how Chris Paul's leadership impacts like the guys around him, like Ayton, Booker. And if Ayton could take those next steps this year, because I know he got suspended last year, but he was definitely improving. So if he could become a very good center, and then Devin Booker is scorer of the team, and Chris Paul just kind of distributing, teaching. So I think that could be pretty sleeper team. So that's my top 8, my playoff prediction.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think before I go into this, I have every single 8 team as you did, obviously in a little different order. One thing about the Warriors, when I was making this, I totally forgot about the Warriors. Like I
know
my 8, and I went back and like scanned through all the teams to make sure, like, you never know. Saw the Warriors, and I'm like, oh yeah, they have Steph Curry, and so then obviously I'll show you where I have them. But yeah, the Warriors are interesting team, and that 8 seed, what for me was between a couple teams, and I know you went with the Suns. I'll have to let you guys know who I have, but at the number 1 seed, Jared's going to disagree with me on this. He thinks it's going to be the Clippers. I know he thinks it's going to be the Clippers, but it's not. It's going to be the Denver Nuggets. And the reason I think it's going to be the Denver Nuggets, and Jared said he compared them to the Raptors in the Eastern Conference. I like that comparison. I'm going to take it one step bigger. They're the Milwaukee Bucks of the Western Conference. I think they're going to be a good regular season team. I just don't think they're talented enough to compete with the Clippers or the Lakers to win a finals. But we are talking about regular season, like Jared said. I got the Nuggets at a 1 seed, and it also results in I'm with Jared. I don't think LeBron's going to play consistent enough minutes or consistent enough games throughout the regular season to rest him. So I think that's going to factor. Remember a couple years ago when he was on the Cavs and they got the 4 seed, just because I think it's going to be a similar year to that. Not saying the Lakers are not going to make the finals, and maybe they're not, but I just think them and the Clippers are going to have like decrease of games and decrease of minutes, which will project the Nuggets to be the number 1 seed. But Lakers are right behind them. They're going to be the number 2 seed. Look, I get it. LeBron will miss some games just for rest. Doesn't matter. If LeBron's not playing, you still have Anthony Davis, who's arguably the best. He is the best big man in the league. He's a top 5, top 6 player in the league, arguably. And just having LeBron, even if he's not going to play a full, I know the season's only 72 games. If he plays 60 or 62, this team is going to be top of the Western Conference Finals contender. I do worry about their depth, but they did improve their depth with Montrezl Harrell, and they got Dennis Schroeder. So this depth is better than last year's depth, which really worried me last year. But with Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, I think that's much better. And number 3, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. Jared knows I'm high on the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm also high on Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. And I also think Paul George will be huge this year. I think he kind of got bashed last year for just his struggles towards the end of the year. I think he has a big year. And I do think losing Montrezl Harrell hurts, but Will Williams is back. This Clippers team is talented. I'm with Jared. I don't know if Kawhi Leonard is going to play all the games with LeBron, but come playoff times, Clippers and Lakers will be right at the top. And number 4, I got the Dallas Mavericks. I'm liking what they're doing with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. I do agree with JR in the sense that their team around them is not super good, but I do think Luka Doncic takes that next step. He's a candidate for the MVP. He's going to be in that MVP race. I got the Mavericks at 4. Portland Trailblazers are coming in at 5. Look, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are one of the best backcourt duos in the league, and I think a fully healthy Joseph Nurkic is going to be huge. They also have Robert Covington, who's a good wing player. Joseph Nurkic is going to be the key to this team. He wasn't fully healthy last year, and I think he's an underrated big man. I don't know if Jared, if you agree with me, but I do think Nurkic is an underrated big man.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I think people don't, I'm not saying he's a superstar or anything like that, but I think he's a pretty good big man for the Blazers. And number 6, Houston Rockets. I have to agree with JR. If James Harden's on this team, I can't not have him in the playoffs. Even if he doesn't want to be here, he's going to play, and he's super talented, one of the best scorers of all time. And you also have John Wall, who I think I'm with Jerry. He's more of just a pass first kind of guy. And I think I'm actually really intrigued because we haven't seen John Wall in 2 years. I always enjoyed John Wall playing. I'm not saying he's like a championship caliber player, but he's always interesting to watch, right? And I just think watching John Wall is going to be an interesting storyline this year. I got the Rockets at 6. Obviously, they ship off James Harden. That might change the standings just a little. Number 7, I got the Golden State Warriors. I know they lost Klay Thompson, and I think this would be even harder to make if they had Klay Thompson right now. Imagine Steph Curry and Klay Thompson with Andrew Wiggins. I just think that would be even harder to make, but not having Klay Thompson drops him down to 7. I know you're giving me a little shake of your head. You don't agree with me, and having Andrew Wiggins and a fully healthy Steph Curry. Watch out for James Wiseman. I think he is going to have a great year as the center for the Warriors. I'm not going to count Steph Curry out. I don't think this is like their teams of the past with. Oh, I also forgot they have Draymond Green, who I don't really like, but he's also been there. He's been to finals. He's experienced. But this is definitely not the caliber of the team with when they used to have Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant. Nowhere near. At number 8, it was between 3 teams for me, guys. It's Timberwolves, Pelicans, or the Phoenix Suns. I hate to do this, but I'm dreaming with JR. I'm going the Phoenix Suns. I think the veteran leadership of Chris Paul is going to be huge for this team. I think Devin Booker is going to be great. DeAndre Ayton, a full DeAndre Ayton is going to be really good. Mikal Bridges is pretty good for them. This team is good. The reason I stayed away from the Pelicans and Timberwolves, I think the Timberwolves just don't have those players yet. I think they're still really young. But, man, if the Timberwolves hit with Anthony Edwards, they could be in the playoffs. Pelicans are going to be intriguing with Zion and Brandon Ingram, but I'm still going with the Suns. Chris Paul, we saw what he did with the Thunder roster, and I do think this is kind of a similar roster to last year's Thunder team. Like, I do think the talent might even be better on the Suns team than last year's Thunder team. You have like a similar player, Shai and Devin. I know they're not the similar exact player, but they're similar age and they're both young guards. And I think DeAndre Ayton's better than Steven Adams, who was on the Thunder team last year. So I think this is a really similar team, and I expect Chris Paul to be good and have a good veteran relationship. So I have the Suns at 8.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. That was a hard spot though, number 8.
Super hard. Okay, guys, we gave you our Western and Eastern Conference predictions. Guys, let us know down in the comment section if you agree or disagree with us. JR, give me your NBA Finals picks and who's winning the NBA Finals.
All right, so in the NBA Finals, I have the Los Angeles Lakers go back there again, and they're going to be playing the Brooklyn Nets for like a LeBron, KD kind of shootout. I just think people I feel like KD's missed the whole year. People are starting to like kind of forget about him, like not put him in their top 5 this year. Like I feel like that's kind of crazy because when he's there, he shows he's like LeBron's hardest matchup in my opinion. And however, I do have the Lakers winning. I have them winning. I'd say 7 games. It's gonna be a tough series. See if because he's been dying for that like I'm the best player in the league. Like people look at him now, and people I feel like just looked over him and put on Giannis. And I feel like KD, like this is a season that he could prove to the whole world, to every fan, that he's still top guy in this league too. And so that's my matchup, and that's who I have winning. And I actually have Anthony Davis winning Finals MVP probably.
I agree with one of those teams in the NBA Finals. The other one I don't agree with. I have the Brooklyn Nets, who I think is going to come out of the Eastern Conference. I think they're going to be in the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Great matchup. I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is just better with the Bucks at. Out of the West, it's not the Lakers, it's not the Denver Nuggets, it's the Los Angeles Clippers. And I had the Los Angeles. I know you're shaking your head again. I know I had the Los Angeles Clippers winning the finals last year. That did not work out. Obviously, the Lakers did. I just think the Clippers coming back with fully healthy Kawhi and Paul George. They have a chip on their shoulder. They were embarrassed by the Nuggets in the playoffs last year. I would say they're embarrassed in the conference semis. They should have won that series. They blew a lead, and they should have won a game 7, but they did not. I do think a Clippers-Lakers matchup in the Western Conference Finals would be really intriguing. I just think having Kawhi and Paul George with a chip on their shoulder. This team's going to have a big chip on their shoulder because they were just embarrassed in the playoffs last year. And I think the Nets are going to be super good out of the East. This is going to be a great matchup. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George versus Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets to win the NBA Finals. I knew you thought I was going to pick the Clippers, but I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to win in 6, and Kevin Durant is going to be the Finals MVP.
Well, I agree. If they're playing the Clippers, then the Nets will win. But
I knew you
I
didn't
don't.
like.
I just think the people put too much. Like I don't know. They want to see like the Lakers Clippers matchup, and I just feel like now, especially this year, like last year, I think the Clippers had a better team. However, this year I think the Lakers just have a much better team and better stars on that team. So that's my
Agree
opinion.
to disagree. Yeah. Okay, guys, let us know in the comment section if you agree with that finals, and give us your finals prediction. Who you think's making the finals, guys? NBA awards time. We're going to be giving you an MVP, a Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man, and Coach of the Year. Jared, start off. Who's your MVP of the NBA season?
My MVP of the 2021 season is Anthony Davis. I have the Lakers #1 seed in the West. I have them winning well, that doesn't matter because it's playoffs, but I just think LeBron probably won't play. I mean, I think he'll play a good amount, decent amount, but he won't be playing the minutes that he played last year because he played like 34, 32 minutes a game last year. And I think now it's like kind of Anthony Davis to take control of the offense, kind of not offense, but he's going to be the focus scorer, and he's going to be rebounds. And I know they got more talent around the team, so less pressure off him. It wasn't just like, oh, LeBron's on the court, he's the only guy that can make plays. Anthony Davis is on the court, he's the only guy that can make plays. Now it's like he got talent around him, so they can't just focus on him. And I think this is a big step for his career this season.
I can't not agree with you, even though I didn't pick Anthony Davis. Like, that's a great pick. He was probably second or third for me. I'm taking Luka Doncic to be the MVP of the NBA season. I have the Mavericks finishing 4th, which is a couple spots higher than you did, Jared. And I just think Luka Doncic has a great regular season. I think a finals MVP, not finals, a regular season MVP is usually a guy that hasn't won it, exception from last year. So I do think Anthony Davis will definitely be in that conversation. But having LeBron might kind of dwindle his chances just a little. I think Luka Doncic not probably being that only really great player on his team. I think they have a great regular season. I think he puts up really good numbers, and it's gonna be hard for me to not go with Luka Doncic as the MVP. Jared, who is your Rookie of the Year?
So my Rookie of the Year, this is pretty hard. I kind of went with the most popular route, I guess, but I kind of thought about this, and I'm picking LaMelo Ball. And it's not because, I think he's going to be the best rookie in this draft class. I mean, he might be that, and I like him a lot. his efficiency hasn't been the best. It's not what he's known for, at least. I just think with the Charlotte Hornets, he's going to get a lot minutes. He's going to be a playmaker for this team, and it's just like one of those franchises where, kind of like when Kemba came, like he's kind of their franchise player. He's like their focal point. So he's definitely going to get a lot of time and opportunities. So I think that's why he's my rookie of the year, because of those opportunities. And I do think he's a very good player. He's going to average a lot of assists, I think.
I agree with you in the sense that like this was really hard year for Anthony Edwards,
Yeah.
Will Ball, James Wyman, Patrick Williams, Obi Toppin, tons of really good rookies. I'm going Tyrese Halliburton. I know Jared knows I'm super high on this kid, and I did think the Knicks should have took him in the top 10, but it did fall to the Kings. I believe it was at 12. I don't want to say wrong information. I believe the Kings were at 12.
12 or 11, yeah.
Yeah, and I think him and De'Aaron Fox are going to be good together, and I expect Tyrese Halliburton have a good regular season. I just think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to have like 15, 6 or 7 assists a game. I think he's a pass first point guard, which might help his stats. Have De'Aaron Fox a little off the ball, who's more of a scorer. The one thing that worries me, maybe he does not get enough scoring in the scoring column, but I do think he's one of the top tier passers in this rookie class, along with LaMelo Ball. My wild card pick would kind of been Anthony Edwards. If Anthony Edwards blossoms and just consistently can make a shot, I think he'll win this by far. But I think it'll be a little struggle in the beginning of the year for Anthony Edwards. I just think Tyrese Halliburton just be more consistent passing and defending. I got Tyrese Halliburton as my rookie of the year. Jared, who is your defensive player of the year?
My defensive player of the year is, again, Anthony Davis. I think he's going to win MVP and defensive player of the year. I mean, the guy averages around 2 steals and 2 blocks a game almost. And I think it's not just about blocks, not just about steals, but if you could, not just about those stats either, but he just, whenever I watch the Lakers play, he's just a huge defensive presence. Runner up for me was like Bam Adebayo or like a Giannis, because Giannis has been very good on defense too. But I just feel like that, yeah, it's either between him and Giannis for like the most impact on the defensive side. And I just feel like him in that paint, whenever I see him, he comes through with a block. And it's about those moments where you just watch them and they just perform. So I'm picking 80 for defensive player of the year. He's going to have a big season this year.
I agree with you. I've taken Anthony Davis as my defensive player. I almost chose Giannis, but I don't think they'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Even if he has similar numbers to AD, they're gonna go AD. Even though like that shouldn't really always how it is. Whoever has the better year should get it every year. And we can get into debate about the LeBron MVP every year, which he probably should, but it's just they don't give it to him every year because they want to keep it new. Defensive player of the year has to go Anthony Davis, like you said, blocks, steals, rebounds, great defensive rebounder. I think he's just gonna have a great dominant year. He's gonna be second or third for me in the MVP voting, so he's gonna have a superstar year. He's also gonna have a great defensive year. I don't want to step on anything you just said, but yeah, I got defensive player of the year, Anthony Davis. Jared, who is your most improved player?
My most improved player. This is, for me, it was hard thinking like what is like being the most improved, and because I know like Brandon Ingram won it last year, but was he really improved the most? You know, like Devontae Graham might have won it. But I'm kind of going basis of their previous selections, and I'm not making this category like a comeback player of the year. So like it's not John Wall or Kevin Durant. I'm going Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He averaged 19, 3, and 6 last year with like only 34 minutes. And I think now that we basically got rid of the whole team, and he's the focus, he's the franchise player on this team, he'll be getting more minutes. And I think hit that scoring mid 20s, and assist numbers and rebounds go up because of the increase in minutes too. And we're just going to play our offense through, we meaning the Thunder, because I'm a Thunder fan, make our offense through him. And I think he's going to be one most improved.
I like that pick. Yeah, I know on like the websites he has extremely high odds. Look, I'm going most improved player. Jared went for Thunder player. I'm going for Chicago Bull player. I got to get a little Chicago Bull action. I really wanted them to pick them for the 8 seed at Eastern Conference, which I think they could be an 8 seed. I don't want to be super biased, but I'm going Kobe White of Chicago Bulls. Look, last year he averaged 13 points a game in his rookie year, which is a pretty good rookie of the year number for not really starting most of the year. And the problem is he wasn't starting because we had Jim Boylan, who arguably was the worst coach in NBA history, in my opinion. He was
Okay.
god awful. And then once he was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't start Thomas Satoransky anymore. Realized that was a bad idea. And Kobe White started the last 20, maybe 15 to 20 games. So okay sample size. He averaged 24 points a game. I think Kobe White's going to be starting this year. I expect Kobe White to average between 18 to 22 points a game this year. I expect big numbers. He's a high volume scorer. And what I saw last year when he was starting, when he was averaging 24, I don't think he'll be at 24 or 25 this year. If he is, then he'll be most improved player, no doubt. I think the Bulls will make the playoffs if he's averaging 24 or 25. I just think he's going to go from 13 to like 20 or 19. That's a huge jump, and I expect him to be most improved player. JR, who is your sixth man of the year?
This one was between two guys for me. I'm going with Spencer Dinwiddie, Brooklyn Nets.
Ooh, I like
I know I've seen it on a lot of lists, like he's people's picks, but I think he got like 20 points a game last year. I know that now Kyrie and KD and Karis LeVert even are gonna take like that scoring away from him, opportunities away from him. But I mean, I've seen them play in the preseason lineups with 5 players and Kevin Durant. Well, obviously 5 players. Kevin Durant's the 5, so they're playing small ball kind of. And I just think that, like, going back to like the Golden State Warriors, how their bench was so important for the success. And I think their Brooklyn Nets roster in general might be the best roster in the league just because they're so deep. And I think Dinwiddie's going to lead that second unit and be that sixth man of the year. I was going to go with Dennis Schroeder for the Lakers because I think playing with those type of caliber players, he's just going to increase his level of play, and he's a really good scorer and playmaker. But I don't know if he's going to be on the bench because he did say he wants to start, so that's why I'm going with Spencer Dinwiddie. But Dennis Schroeder was also an option for me.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie was close. I do think Dennis Schroeder might start, so obviously that would not put him in the running for sixth man. I got Tyler Hero as my sixth man of the year. He's going to be vital to what the Heat are going to do if they want to accomplish everything they have to. I know he got a lot of hype last year, he was deservedly so. He had a great end of the regular season. He had a great bubble. He was great off the bench, and he was a great scoring option for the Miami Heat. And I expect him to have another great scoring year, like maybe 17 to 18. And I also expect him to develop. He was a rookie, growing pains as a rookie, put more body weight on, just to get stronger and just become a better basketball player. Mentor under Jimmy Butler, great person to get mentored under. I think Tyler Hill is going to be great this year, and I have him as my sixth man of the year. JR, give me your coach of the year.
Kind of going with Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to pick Steve Nash. I know I just like what he's doing in Brooklyn. I know he's not creating the roster, but he definitely has a say in it. I like how he hired his old coach Mike D'Antoni, his old teammate Amari Stoudemire, and just like I like when coaches do that when it's a player coach who used to play and he has all his guys there. And then I think he could really. Kyrie definitely listens to him. I think Kevin Durant definitely listens to him, and I feel like if he could help Kyrie, become more of a not playmaker, but like dishing off the ball more, and if he could get those assists up and just kind of like help Kyrie, because we all know he could score it. He's one of the best scorers in the league. But I just think he's doing good things for the Nets, and I'm kind of excited to watch them play. So
I agree with you. I'm taking Steve Nash. Look, I had the Nets winning championship, but obviously it goes what the regular season is. Budenholzer has won it before. I think the Bucks have another great regular season. They're not going to give it to him. I think Nets finished second, one of the top records in the league. How do you not give it to Steve Nash? First year head coach. And I think they're going to have I get it. His team's great. So you could always give it to a coach that doesn't have a great team that has great success. Like a Billy Donovan for last year with the Thunder, a team that we didn't think would be that good, but that was really good. But I'm going to go Steve Nash here. It's going to be hard not to give it to him. And I agree with you. Mike D'Antoni and Amari Stoudemire on the staff. Mike D'Antoni is a great NBA head coach. Like, I know he has flaws, obviously, with his defensive skill, but assistant head coach, all he doesn't worry about defense. Run the offense. That team's scary good, the Nets. That's why I have him as my finals pick. I think that's just such a great team. Great coach staff. Much better coaching staff than what the Lakers have, I believe. Obviously, it doesn't really mean as much as an NBA does as it does like in the NFL. But I think it's going to be great for the Nets. And Nets fans, get excited. It's going to be a great year for you guys, or it should be a great year. Okay, Jer, running down to the end of this video. Who do you have as your NBA first team All NBA? And we're also going to do NBA first team All Rookie. So Jared, started off with your NBA first team for the NBA season.
So I got Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Anthony Davis. Um, I got LeBron as a guard. And it was hard for me to pick that, just not because of LeBron, just I don't know how much he's going to play. And will that affect the committee's decision? Because I also had Damian Lillard, who I think is going to score the hell out of the ball this year, and then also James Harden, because he's one of the best scorers of all time, like Pete said. But I got LeBron just because I think he's going to get 20 points per game and up there in assists like he did last year. Luka Doncic, just because the hype around Luka Doncic this year, and he could kind of do everything on the court. When he's kind of like the heart and soul of the Mavericks, like Pete had them Midwestern Conference. I think he's one of the best scorers in the league, obviously. So he definitely, if he takes that next step to become superstar, I don't think he's a superstar yet, but if he takes that next step, then yeah, he's gonna be first team. Kevin Durant, Pete mentioned they got Mike D'Antoni, and he's a great offensive mind in the big game. You saw what he did with James Harden. You saw what he just whenever he's on a team that his star player usually scores a bunch like James Harden has. And I think now just imagine Kevin Durant in that system. Debatably the best scorer of all time, best skill set to score of all time. I think Kevin Durant due for. I know like his minutes might not be there, but I think he's gonna have a beast season coming back. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's putting up remarkable numbers. His efficiency's high. He does it on both ends of the court. I have my flaws with him. I don't think he could lead that team by himself in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's a monster. He's All NBA first team, and for years to come, probably. And then obviously my MVP, Anthony Davis. I think he's gonna have definitely improve scoring, improve his rebounds, and he's gonna become a overall really good player this year. He already is.
I agree with you on 4 out of those 5 players. There's one player I left off. I got LeBron James and Luka Doncic rounding at the guard position. I know we're putting LeBron James at guard because he plays mainly guard. So I got LeBron James, Luka Doncic. How can I not have Luka Doncic on his one MVP? Forwards, I got Jimmy Butler and I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then at the center, I got Anthony Davis. I know I see these faces. You guys can't see that. He's giving me every time I say something he doesn't agree with. I got Jimmy Butler. I know you're not going to give that. I know Kevin Durant is great, and I almost had Kevin Durant, but I didn't want to be so. I'm not saying you did this, but I just wanted to put a little spice on my list because I feel like there's sometimes always a player that we don't expect. And this is for any sports and any awards in any sport. There's a lot of guys that come in late, and I think Jimmy Butler, great season last year, and I think he's going to lead this team to a top 3 seed. What I have him a 3 seed? Yeah, 3 seed in the Heat. I have him a 3 seed, so there'll be a top 3 seed in the East. And I expect Jimmy Butler to play great. Guys, LeBron James, Luka Doncic. Do I really need to go into detail why they could be first team? Luka Doncic is going to win MVP, so cannot have him on. LeBron is the best player in the NBA. If he doesn't make first team All NBA, then something must have happened. Giannis, he does have his flaws. I'm with JR on that, but he's a superstar in the NBA. Defensive Player of the Year, MVPs. He's going to have another great year. Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year, dominant big man, best center in the league. You could argue Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid are up there. They're not on Anthony Davis's level. But yeah, Jimmy Butler is the only one I spiced up a little, and I put Jimmy Butler in over Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, Kevin Durant fans. I got to go with my man Jimmy Butler. And I almost put Damian Lillard over like Luka, but I think Luka's going to win MVP, so I'm going to go Damian. I do expect Steph Curry and Damian Lillard have great years at guards. It's so hard. It's so hard. There's so many players that we're leaving off. We're leaving off James Harden. Like we both didn't have James Harden, who's if he plays a full year, might lead the league in scoring again.
Yeah,
so it's tough. But yeah, my first team on NBA: LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Jimmy Butler, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I did not think you were going to sneak Jimmy in there.
I had Kevin Durant. Then I wanted to sneak someone else, and I just felt like just to spice it up a little. Okay, JR. Guys, I know this is a long video. We're sorry, but we have to give you all the NBA stuff you need for the season. NBA first team All Rookie. Who's your 5 players that is going to be the first team?
Well, I got LaMelo Ball because he's winning my Rookie of the Year. I also got Killian Hayes from the Detroit Pistons. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes, and if he's a really good passer. If you could show that, maybe get like high assists, high points per game, it's going to be able to make first team. And then I got Danny Avija for the Washington Wizards. I think he's going to get a lot of open shots. We saw in the preseason, he didn't even miss a shot. I know he only took like 3, but I mean, he's going to get open shots just because of Russ and Bradley Beal. And even Bertans, who's a really good 3-point scorer. I kind of like what they're doing there. Bull, I think he's going to be due for a solid year, and I counts as a rookie this year because he didn't really play much last year. But I think he's a wild card for me. So yeah, and then James Wiseman. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes played, and I think pairing with Curry is going to help him develop his game inside.
You saw the look on my face when you said the Bull.
Yeah.
That was unique. But guys, you have to be. There's always people like I just said 2 minutes ago that are in these all NBA teams or win awards that we don't think are going to be in the playoffs that we don't think. My guards, I had Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards have a great year scoring, and I think they're going to need him if they want to make a playoffs with D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. And I had Tyrese Halliburton winning Rookie of the Year. So yeah, it has to be first team. It was hard to leave off Killian Hayes because I know if you guys haven't checked that out, but I did that when we did the NBA draft recap. I'm love Killian Hayes. I thought he might be the best player in this draft, but I'm gonna take Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards. I think just the scoring will be there for both of them. At the forwards, I'm taking Isaac Okoro and Patrick Williams. Isaac Okoro was the number 5 pick in the draft, and he's shown that he can score the ball in the preseason, which I did not think that would be the case. I thought he'd be more of a defender. And the Cavs are going to need him. They have a nice young core of Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. I know Kevin Love and Andre Drummond are there. Not really young core there, but I think Isaac Okoro is going to be a great defender, and I think he's going to have a good scoring year. Patrick Williams, my man, Chicago Bull. I cannot have him on my list. He's in preseason averaged about 14 and 7 a game, and I think that's pretty good. I think that might get him first team. That would definitely get him second team All-NBA, but I just don't think there was another forward I could have put. Danny Avdija was definitely a candidate, or the guy I can't pronounce, an Onakwa Agukwe.
Onyeka Ngaku.
Yeah, that guy. Sorry, guy. Sorry if you're listening, but which he probably isn't. But and then my center,
Big O.
Big O, yes, and my center, James Wiseman. Well, James Wiseman is gonna be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. I think he arguably could win it. I just think they don't have a lot of big men, and I think he's gonna need to do a lot for this team to succeed. And having Steph Curry, great point guard to play with, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, not having Klay Thompson, he's going to get legit minutes where a lot of rookies don't get a ton of legit minutes right away. I know some of them do, like Edwards and Ball will, and I think Patrick Williams will, he might start. But some rookies get eased in too, and I don't think James Wiseman, I think he's going to be thrown right into the fire. I think when they play the Lakers, he'll be guarding Anthony Davis. It's going to be a test for this rookie. I think he's going to succeed. He didn't play a lot of college basketball because the whole Memphis scandal. But yeah, James Wiseman will round out my all-rookie team. I had Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Isaac Okoro, Patrick Williams, and James Wiseman. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I know this video was a little on the long end, but we have a ton of NBA information we had to give to you. Guys, Jared, anything you got to say before we sign out?
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, and hope you like the picks. You could hold us to it at the end of the season. Yeah, guys, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 700 YouTube subscribers. We're past 650. You did great on the Marcus Brown interview. We're past 1.5K views. We're past 80 likes. Great comments. Guys, Twitter, Instagram links will be in the description. Go check those out. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. We'll see you back in a week or so on YouTube. And guys, Apple Podcasts, NFL previews are coming out every week. So that link will also be in the description. So make sure you check that out. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year's. Guys, this was the Talking Sports Podcast with Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour. Thank you.